Good morning, everyone. Today, I will explain what inflation is, the types of inflation, and how raising fuel prices caused inflation in Malaysia in March 2026. First, inflation means the prices of goods and services keep increasing over time. When inflation happens, the value of money goes down. This means we need more money to buy the same items. For example, if food costs Rm 10 ringgit before, it may increase to Rm 12 later. So people have to spend more money for the same thing. There are three main types of inflation. The first is demand pull inflation. This happens when many people want to buy goods, but the supply is not enough. When demand is high, prices go up. And the second is cost push inflation. This happens when the cost of production increases. For example, if fuel or raw material prices increases, business will increase their product prices. The third is built-in inflation. This happens when workers ask for higher wages because living costs are rising. Then businesses increases price to pay for the higher wages. Now, let us look at Malaysian inflation in March 2026. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, inflation increased from 1.4% in February 2026 to 1.7% in March 2026. The CPI also increased from 1034.1 to 1036.4 points. One of the main reasons for this increase was higher fuel prices. In March 2026, fuel prices went up. Diesel was about Rm 3 ringgit point 92 per liter. RON 95 was Rm 3 ringgit point 37 per liter, and RON 97 was Rm 3 ringgit point 85 per liter. When fuel prices increases, transport or delivery costs also increase. This is because vehicles need fuel to move goods. So companies have to spend more money to deliver products. To cover this cost, they increase prices of goods like food and daily items. This situation is called cost push inflation, where higher costs cause prices to go up. The government also help by keeping subsidy fuel prices lower through programs like Budi 95, which help reduce the impact on people. In conclusion, inflation means prices are increasing. In Malaysia, inflation increased in March 2026 mainly because fuel prices went up. This caused transport costs to increase and made goods more expensive. Thank you, that's all from me.
Hi, my name is Farid, and we will move into my part, which is what is subsidy? A subsidy is when the government pays for a part of the cost of an item to make it cheaper for people to buy. By covering this portion of the expense, the government keeps the final retail price low. This ensures that essential goods and services remain affordable for everyone in the country. We have inflation, which is general rise in price of the time. When global costs go up, they put pressure on our local economy. However, programs like the Budi 95 program in Malaysia are designed to step in and moderate this impact. There are four main ways this work to keep our economy stable. First, subsidies work by stopping price down. The government essentially locks the price of these essential items. For example, even when global oil prices fluctuate highly, the government set a fixed limit on what we pay at the top. Because the price is locked, it cannot suddenly become too expensive for the average consumer. It cannot suddenly become too expensive for the average consumer. So how subsidies like that within 95 affect the inflation? I'll tell you because this brings after inflation, which is the general rise in prices of the time. When global costs go up, it puts pressure on our local economy. However, Programs like Budi 95 programs in Malaysia are designed to step in and moderate the impact. There are four main ways this will to keep our economy stable. At first, subsidies work by stopping a price jump. The government essentially lock the price of essential items. For example, even when global oil price fluctuates widely, the government sets a fixed limit on what we pay at the pump. Because the price is low, it cannot suddenly become too expensive for the average consumer. Thank you. The second major benefit is stopping oil prices from rising. This is all because this is all about the supply chain. Fuel is what moves our goods. When the government keeps the full cheap, they directly stop transport costs from going up. Because it doesn't cost more to transport goods, the prices of everyday food and retail items stay low as well. It stops a chain reaction of price increases. Third, modern subsidy system focus on helping right people. Instead of giving cheap food to everyone, including wealthy individuals or foreigners who do not need financial assistance, the government is targeted programs like Budi 95. This ensures that the financial aid goes directly to regular families who actually need the help the most. And finally, subsidies. And finally, the last one is subsidies are crucial for global change. Right now, global event and international conflict make worldwide price highly unstable. Instead of letting the instability hit local citizens, the government acts as a shield. They absorb the extra cost at the macro level so that regular people do not feel the economic sting in their daily life. In conclusion, subsidies like Budi 95 program are not just about keeping petrol cheap. They are strategic tools used to control the cost of living there are strategic tools used to control the cost of living, protect the supply chain and support families who need it the most.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Hairi Saifuddin and I'm from DIA 3B. So today, I will explain the effects of rising fuel prices without subsidies on Malaysia's supply chains and business costs, especially for infant or new businesses during inflation. First, let me define supply chain. What is supply chain? A supply chain is the network of activities, people, and businesses involved in producing and delivering goods or service from supplier to customer. It includes obtaining raw materials, manufacturing products, transportation, warehousing, and distribution to consumers. First, rising fuel prices increase transportation and logistic costs. Fuel is so important for transporting raw material and finished goods from supplier to customer. When fuel prices rise, logistic companies and lorry operators charge higher delivery fees. As a result, a business needs to spend more on shipping and distribution. For example, after diesel price increase in Malaysia, many lorry operators raise freight charges. This caused retailer and supermarket to face higher transportation costs. Second, rising fuel price also increase production costs. Many factories and businesses use fuel and energy to operate machinery, transport materials, and run daily operation. When fuel becomes more expensive, production expenses also rise. Businesses may then increase the price of goods and services to maintain their profits. For example, food manufacturers and farmers face higher operating costs due to expensive diesel. This contributed to a higher price of vegetables, chickens, and groceries in Malaysia. Third, infant or new businesses face greater challenge. New businesses usually have limited capital and weaker financial stability compared to large companies. Higher fuel and delivery costs can reduce profits and create cash flow. They may also struggle to compete with established businesses. For example, a new online clothing businesses that use courier service may face increased shipping costs, making it difficult to keep price affordable for customers. In conclusion, rising fuel price without subsidies can increase transportation, production.
So moving on to the next question, I will explain what is purchasing power and customer price index. First, purchasing power, which is simply the financial ability to consume, to buy goods and service when price go up. Your money buy less, meaning your purchasing power falls. Next, the consumer price index or CPI. This is the average metric that tracks the average change over time in the price of a basket of consumer goods. To put it simply, it is our primary tool for measuring inflation. According to Bank Negara, Malaysia's inflation went up to 1.7% in March because global oil price jumped. Now, it could have been much worse, but two things save us. First, government fuel subsidies kept petrol price low at Rm 1.99 per litre. Secondly, the price of fresh food like meat and fish actually went down. This cheaper food helped balance out the expensive oil, keeping overall inflation low. But what if fresh food price did not go down? This is the core of our problem. Without that drop in food prices, Malaysia's inflation would have gone way past 1.7%. Life would have become much harder because people will be hit from two sides at the same time, paying more for transport and paying more for groceries. This situation will hurt low-income families or the B40 group the most. Why? Because rich family only spend a small slice of their money on groceries, but for a B40 family, food takes up a massive chunk of their monthly budget. Even if the government keeps petrol cheap, high food price directly ruin their quality of life. For example, when raw chicken and fish stay expensive, local food stalls and economy rush shop have to raise their prices. A simple lunch out become a luxury. Also, Malaysians import a lot of animal feed from overseas. If global costs stay high, local meat stay expensive, and the B40 group suffers the most. To wrap it up, cheap food is great, but keeping food affordable is what truly protects Malaysian families. Thank you.